Dr. Titley, I'm interested in this question about reinsurance. It's been stated here at this hearing that no costs heretofore can be demonstrated to have been attributed to climate change. But can you tell me whether you know about reinsurance models going forward, whether climate change science has affected their modeling and their understanding of risk?
Just very briefly, sir, what I can tell you is the reinsurance industry is intensely interested in how the climate is changing because it's a business issue for them. So it's not a politics issue, it's business. And when they see the number of weather catastrophes increasing and increasing significantly, they've got to wonder how is that impacting their business. They may or may not be statistically related to climate, but I'll tell you, I lived on the Gulf Coast, and when I watched my hurricane premiums go from about $600 a year to $6,000 a year, there's real impact. And they're not coming back down, and we don't see them coming back down. So I think there's a real impact in both the insurance and reinsurance industry as we price the risk of extreme weather.
Do you agree with some of the claims made that there's no association between climate change and or tornadic activity?
Well, thank you certainly for that question. Words matter. And, you know, I was almost going to start nodding my head up and down with the other witnesses until I heard that there was no linkage. There is a tremendous difference between no linkage and a linkage that is not known. It's only a subtle word change, but there is a really big difference. I think the scientific consensus is not that there's no linkage. The scientific consensus is we don't know. And that is a very, very important definition, sir. But we do know we have a warmer and more moister world, and that means that we need to really be careful because we know both with severe weather, with big thunderstorms, and with hurricanes, those are one of, not the only, but those are primary important ingredients to creating big storms. Could you comment on the claim that that there have been no increase in extreme weather events? Yes, sir. I think it really matters, again, how do you define extreme weather events? I looked up the definition of extreme since I thought we were going to be talking about that today, and one of the main definitions is away from the center. Again, just take the basic data. We have had for the last 36 years, since President Ford was in office, above normal temperatures. That's away from the center, and they're getting further and further away. Now, if you take each year as kind of its own thing, imagine like flipping a coin 36 times and getting heads. I mean, if that's a fair coin, I want to go to Vegas with you because the odds of that are about 1 in 68 billion. To put it another way, there's a 400 times chance, greater chance that you're going to win the Powerball, which is 400 million, by the way, this week, than getting 36 coins to flip heads in a row. So I would say that is extreme. And the ice in the Arctic, that's extreme. We have seen geologic changes in less than 10 years. That's pretty extreme, sir.
Moving from the independent assessment of business people and reinsurance, you come from a military background. How has climate change science affected the hard-headed decisions about what the Navy or other armed forces are having to do to adjust? Is climate change science having an impact on those sort of decisions?
Yes, sir. It's in the the highest level strategies of the Department of Defense. It's in what the DoD calls the Quadrennial Defense Review. Climate change is talked about there. I could go through very, very quickly just about 3 places. The Arctic, it's opening up a whole new theater of operations. That's being driven by climate. Infrastructure and sea level rise. We haven't talked much about sea level rise, but it is a huge issue, probably up 2, 3, 4 feet. We were just in Norfolk. I have a graph in my testimony that shows exponentially rising hours of flooding in some Norfolk neighborhoods. The Department of Defense is worried about that. The Navy is, and people ask, why is the Navy concerned? It's like it's kind of a ship thing. We have to put our bases at sea level, so it's going to be a big deal. And then finally, how does climate change potentially exacerbate conflicts? And there's been a number of peer-reviewed studies that show both the Arab Spring and Syria probably have some climate linkages. Thanks.
Thank you.